Hello, this is Myra with Hindsight Media Network, and I am excited today. As I tell you, I try to bring information that's inspiring, encouraging to everybody across the globe. And the Hindsight Media Network is known for bringing in good stuff, something good to talk about. And today I have the author of the book, Finding a Coach, Diving Deep Within. And it is Melinda J. Kelly. And, you know, I talked to her prior to us coming together, and you can feel the clean, sweet, natural spirit of Melinda. And I truly want the audience to be able to feel that. And she's going to talk to us about finding that coach and why and the reason for that. And we want to kind of break away the barriers that we feel and that we have in our lives and do something different in 2019. So without further ado, I have my amazing guest, my beautiful, natural, beautiful friend that I just met, Melinda J. Kelly, the author of Finding a Coach, Diving Deep Within. Hello, Melinda.
Hello there. I am so delighted to be here, and I feel like I'm walking on water after an introduction like that.
You are. Amazing, amazing. Melinda, tell our audience a little bit about you and why this book, what prompted this to come into your spirit and your psyche.
I have been very thankful that my life has sort of flowed along without too much horrific upheaval. We all have things, but
Yes.
I've been very blessed that most of my things have been road bumps, not big things.
Okay, good.
And I suddenly came to a place. I've worked in the family publish and business counseling business for years, and it had an interesting relationship because whenever you work with family, it's the absolute best of things and the most unusual stories to tell your friends to comfort you. And came to a point where I suddenly had to look at the future of the business and what did I want to do with my future, because what had been so revolutionary in the 70s was now sort of passé in the whatevers. And that took me on a question of where to, because just because you're good at something doesn't mean you want to keep doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that was a really strange question to ask myself, but a good one.
Yeah.
And with that one, it took me down a road of, well, what is it I would like to do? I feel we stop dreaming after a while because that's something you do as a child, but it's not something you do as an adult. And even daydreaming is sort of like you're wasting time.
Oh, yeah.
But I like to think of it as you're visioning a future. You're hoping for something better and more. I really do believe we all should, sit outside and just dream a little bit, much more than we do. Doing that, it brought me back to some thoughts and hopes and dreams I'd had a long time ago. And so I thought, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be really brave and I'm going to write a book. Well, we all think we're really very good writers, and we may or may not be.
Right.
And it took me to go, I better get a little help on this. In working with people, I discovered that there are so many fabulous people out there. There are people that are available free on webinars. There are people that you might go to at a community college. There might be a meetup group or someone in your community or a high school that has adult education. There is everything out there when you start looking for it.
Yes.
And as I started looking for it, I realized that sometimes everyone in the room was getting all sorts of great knowledge, and I wasn't. And after a while, you have to ask yourself, is it them or me? And I sort of had to be honest. It might be me.
Wow.
So this is not the book I started out to write.
Oh.
This is the book that said you need to share.
Okay.
And so with that, I am sharing my experiences when I was finding my coach to help you find your coach.
Okay. Awesome. 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 And it sounds as though it was a process. You allowed life to just go as life go, and kind of answer those questions as you went along. And it started to open up for you.
Very much. And one of the things that I realized is we all have traits and tendencies we do. I don't even realize it.
Right.
I have an incredibly unruly 5-year-old.
Okay.
At the moment I hear the word should, suddenly jumps up and says, no, I don't have to.
Yes.
And you could give me the secret of the universe, but that 5-year-old's busy having a little tantrum.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to own that I can be reactionary instead of hearing what's being said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then who's getting hurt?
Right. Yeah. Me.
And some of us have a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old. We might even have a 13-year-old. We just don't know what age we get cranky at.
Absolutely. And which one is we're answering to, depending on the time, which kind of makes sense a lot. Okay. And, I understand exactly what you're saying, because that's life. And it's good not to hurry life, but to question it as we walk through it and say, give yourself time to pause instead of being radical about making a decision to do that. So what are some of the things that brought this into fruition for you? What are some of the things we need to do when we're looking for a coach, Melinda?
Well, I would say first I wanted to mention that I have learned that I love the questions almost more than the answers because there is so much knowledge and wisdom and information out there that ends up enriching you in other ways you didn't even think about.
Oh, yeah.
And as children, we're told, be quiet, don't ask questions.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
And it challenges us because often we might know something more, but we tend to be polite or, respectful.
Yeah.
And the truth is we need to own that we bring a lot to the table.
Yes. True.
Sometimes people aren't going to be willing to hear it.
Yeah.
But sometimes what we have is powerful for us.
Yeah.
And when you're looking to work with somebody, I always say trust but verify.
Mm-hmm.
And just because someone has this fabulous relationship with you may not mean they're going to work great with me.
Mm-hmm.
They might see the world in a very structured way.
Mm-hmm.
And that works for you. Whereas I'm a little more free floating.
Yeah.
And so we would accidentally make each other crazy.
Yeah.
The others, I really feel and believe, if someone is saying the values that you have, that's someone to pay attention to, whether you work with them or not, because they're giving you a clue as how to speak your truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And there are a million ways to do anything and a million ways to get anywhere. But working with people that resonate with us and that will appreciate and respect the way we approach things is vital.
Right.
Because whether you're a success or failure, knowing it is you, not somebody else's version of you that was a success or failure, is all the difference in the world.
Wow. That's good. I'm making sure that that person has the values that you have. And that's that connection that you have to have with that person. Because if you're looking to get help, you have to be able to trust that person that's telling you things. And you can't trust them if you don't actually feel their energy and compatibility to yours.
Very much. And it's also when you're working with a coach, they listen to what you say. So if you say, I want to solve world peace by Tuesday, they take you at your word. And so they will remind you what you said.
Absolutely.
Now, if you don't trust that they have your best hopes in going with you, you're going to get, wait, why are you reminding me of this? I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then you're going to disappear. And then you've lost this time and lost the lessons.
Yeah, absolutely. Are coaches more apt. I know I try to be more apt in showing my clients accountability more so than do, but letting them say, these are things I want to do, strategically find out what's the best plan to do it based upon what they say. And when they lock in what they are going to do, I say, I'm going to hold you accountable to that.
Oh, you sound like you'd be delightful to work with. Because there's something magic when someone has that moment that they know what it is they're meant to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And we can't help but want to help them get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as I said, for some people, they need a very, structured on Tuesday, do this. And for some people, it's reminding them, this is your dream.
Absolutely.
And I want it for you, but I can't want it for you more than you want it for you.
Absolutely. And that's where the coach comes in and holds them accountable for, because you actually said this is what you want. And I think a lot of people know what they want. They just don't know the road to take to get there, or they don't have that push or inspiration to help them navigate, because they can whiz it through if they got that accountability or that encouragement or affirmation to go through.
Very much. And I wanted to say, there's a difference between your friends and a coach.
Oh, yeah.
Your friends love you. Your friends want the world for you. Your friends forgive you a million things, and they remember a million other.
Yeah.
But as you change, it can sometimes threaten your relationship.
That's true.
So if you are suddenly going to take on a new job, well, will you still have time for me?
Yeah, that's true.
If you're going to suddenly take up painting, well, what happened to our Saturdays together?
Yeah.
And it's not that they don't want you to have everything, but they are a little threatened. And selfishly, we don't want to lose our friends.
Absolutely. And that is awesome what you're saying, Melinda. Tell our audience, how do you handle that when you're married, when it's a spouse or a partner, that now you've got this epiphany of some things that you want to do? It's like, you know what? I want to do these things. And you begin that journey, but you can't go out and divorce your partner or your spouse. How do you help them to navigate that part of their lives? How would you do that?
Well, like anything, if you're doing it, I believe, professionally, you're probably doing it personally.
Yeah.
You're probably doing it emotionally.
Yeah.
And having a dream is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing a dream is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And too often we've had people throw cold water on it and say, well, why you?
Mm-hmm.
And of course the response is, why not you?
Yeah, sure.
And it gets into having the courage to sit down and say, I found something I want to do. I'm terrified to do it, and I need you to help me get there.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And acknowledge that, okay, maybe we're not going to do a walk in the evening like we've always done.
Yeah.
Or let's figure out a way that I can take some time so that I can get this taken care of, and it becomes a win-win. Haven't you wanted to go do something with your friends, or, let's find a way to make this work so we're both happy.
Absolutely. And that's good. My husband and I, we try to mesh things together, and that's including them in your dream so that they don't feel left out. You're making it inclusive. So they're not on the sideline, even though they might not even do anything, but the fact that you posed that to them and made it an option or an offer, it makes them feel better.
And I wouldn't say that they're not doing anything, because the support and the encouragement we get from our loved ones can make or break you.
It can, absolutely.
Even when someone says, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
They may as well said, go fly to the moon.
Yeah.
It's not the words, it's how it's said.
Absolutely. Wow. Those are great anecdotes, and those are great notes to take down, when finding a coach. And you're just saying you got to be compatible. Those are some of the things. And what happens when you just are contemplating, because, a lot of people think they can do it. I can just do it. And sometimes I'll say, you got all these great athletes around. Do they not have a coach? they're great, but they also need somebody to push them, because as humans, we do kind of falter sometimes. So what do you say to people like, I don't need that, and their life is just in shambles, and they just won't make that move? What do you do if you're a friend or if you're a family member and you want to try to help that person to go see a coach possibly?
Well, I believe that separating a coach from a therapist
Oh, yeah,
is very important.
absolutely.
Therapists tend to work on what are the wounds that got you to where you are now. Coaching is not about that.
No, it's not.
Coaching is about, you see a future, you have a dream, you want to do something.
Yeah.
How can I support you to get there?
Yeah.
And yes, we're all smart people.
Yeah.
And every January, every smart, intelligent, thoughtful, compassionate person I know is absolutely positive that by summer they're going to be wearing a bikini. They will have saved enough money to go on the vacation of their dreams, and they will probably have done something professionally profound.
Right. This resolution.
It's not for want of desire, but sometimes we just need somebody we check in with, somebody that helps us course correct. None of us would think twice about getting directions to a place we haven't gone to before.
Absolutely.
Whether you're driving, you're flying, however you're getting there, even if you're carpooling.
Yeah.
I always have a backup set of directions.
Yeah.
There are a million ways to get anywhere.
Absolutely.
And yet, for something as important as our life, suddenly we don't think we need any help.
Yes. A lot of people don't want the investment. Now, do you find, Melinda, that mostly men are less seeking a coach than women? Do you find there's a gender difference when people are seeking to get help for themselves in their inner space?
I believe it's a thing of language.
Okay.
Because men go for mentors. Men go for business coaches.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of an intonation. Although I do see a good number of men when I've gone and worked with a coach or gone to a conference. So I don't know that it's fair to say that. But I feel women are more open.
Yes.
Our entire life, we're trying to find a better way to get something figured out.
That's true. That's true.
So we are always open to someone's good new idea and testing it out for our lives.
Absolutely.
So I don't know that I want to put men in a category of being, no. But I also feel that they are more comfortable with different language.
Makes sense. I can see my husband wanting to do a business coach or an executive coach, but not just a coach. Or maybe an athletic coach, which he's experienced that before. And the language is the key of what you just said. And it's always how you pose it to men in order for them to pick it up. When we work with couples, it has to be actually a coach, a relationship coach. If you say anything else, you say therapist, you say psychologist, they are not hearing it at all. It's like, I don't need that.
They completely shut down because that is the other part of us, is we want to believe we can do this. We are doing pretty good in our day-to-day life.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard to acknowledge you keep stubbing your toe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a big part of why I wrote this. I don't want anyone else stubbing their toe.
Absolutely. And what kind of feedback have you gotten from the book and from those that you do coach, Melinda? What kind of feedback have you gotten from them?
I have to say I'm very thankful for a lot of kind feedback and good feedback.
Yeah.
One of the things that most people have resonated with are some of the little tips like, I'm so busy, I'm stupid, I'm just so smart, figuring it out that I didn't realize I don't have the answer to anything.
Right.
But the biggest conversation has come with, at the end of the book, looking at the difference between happiness and success.
Yeah.
And how we have so diminished success to finances.
Yes.
And success has so many different levels.
Yeah.
Success, if you have ever sung with a group, that is a collaborative success. When you all have that moment, when you hit a spot and it musically is magic, that is all of your success.
Yeah.
If you have ever worked on a project and each of you has an aspect you bring to the table, that's a collective success. How do you say my chapter was better than yours when without each one, the chair wouldn't stand?
Absolutely.
And more importantly, there's tangible and intangible success.
Yeah.
I can send you an email and say, I've had a lovely time.
Right.
And that's tangible. But I can see you and say, I've just had the most wonderful time.
Right. Yeah.
And that's intangible because the smile and the warmth we have shared, that can't be replicated. And it is an intangible thing you can't put in a document.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's a beautiful thing. I think coaches are new on the scene, but I think and I just think they're new. I think they're always been here. People of encouragement, of pushing, of encouragement have always been around. They never just had a title to it, you know. And outside, you know, not talking about psychologists or therapists, but just people that push and coach and encourage and navigate. They've always been here. And it's just the last, maybe 8 to 10 years, I think, it has come on the scene that coaches are really, really more sought out than the other counterparts. Do you see that sometimes?
Oh, very much. If you look at, we can go back to the royalty, and they always had their court of counselors, and we wouldn't think twice about those are coaches.
True.
And as we have changed, we used to have our family nearby and could go to them.
Yeah.
But as everyone has moved away, we've sort of lost that generational collective wisdom. And there was always someone in the family to say, oh dear, that's a really nice idea, but have you considered?
Yeah.
And would give us our course correction.
Right, true.
We may not have that, and that truly, that luxury.
Yeah.
And so our friends mean well, but may not be able to help us. Yeah. And so a coach is that third party who looks at you as you, at your best hopes and dreams, without all the baggage and other things.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
takes you at your word when you say, I'd like to do this.
Yeah.
And I really think that this person has morphed, and I agree with you very much. The names have changed.
Yeah.
But there's always been that person that you went to for wisdom in the community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Melinda, do you think anybody can be a coach?
Well, of course, there's that tendency to say, well, of course.
Yeah, no.
But I really feel that it is a unique gift. The hardest thing in the world is to listen.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing to do is to listen and not want to correct and make it all better for someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is very hard to watch someone as they're on their road of life and to see them make mistakes that you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I told you about that.
Yeah.
But understanding that they have to do this.
Absolutely.
The other is there's a tremendous degree of empathy you need to have for the people you work with.
So true.
And compassion.
That's so true.
And to be passionate about their dreams, but holding yourself just far enough away.
Absolutely.
That you don't become lost.
In theirs. Yeah, in their space. And you don't become lost. And you hold them accountable. You know, I have a client that come in and says, you know what, Myra, I messed up, and I'm calmly saying, okay, what did you do? I did this, I did that. Okay, well, that's okay. Life happens. It's not hair on fire kind of thing. Oh, you did the wrong thing, kind of thing. You just have to reflect to them that that's okay. We all done it.
And the best lessons come from mistakes.
Absolutely.
If you've ever accidentally put too much salt into anything you're cooking,
oh my goodness. Yeah.
You will never make that mistake again.
Not make that mistake. It's kind of funny. The other day I was in my office in those rolling chairs, and I fell out the rolling chair. And ever since I fell, my husband came in, I was on the floor. So I'm like, I don't need any help. I can get up. But the chair rolled from up under me. Ever since, Melinda, I am so methodical about that chair till it scares me. I'm going to replace it, actually. for a chair that doesn't roll. But that was a mistake. And I will not forget when I get ready to sit in the chair, well, actually this chair, when I sit in it, I got this chair so tight, I am not going to ever.
I know that feeling.
You know
And,
that feeling?
and I know it was the chair's fault.
It was. And I'm not going to let it get me again. And I said that, I was thinking, can everybody be a coach? Because my husband is a master's in clinical counseling. He doesn't like coaching. He doesn't like talking. He's like, I am done. I am burned out. But that's something I've been able to do pretty much all my life, is to have that empathy for people. I don't like people to suffer, but I know that that in itself happens, and we learn from that. But that was a question I was asking, can everybody do it? No, everybody can't do it. You might want to do it, but he's just kind of like blanked out pretty much on it. And he goes in spurts. And I was like, that's okay, honey. That's how you feel about it. But I can take it a little bit different. So I think you got to have a little knack for it.
Very much. Well, it's, everyone thinks they can sing, and we've all, stood next to somebody who the only word that comes to mind is bless their heart.
That's what you want to do. I know. I get always accused of being a gospel singer. I said, I can't sing. Although I sung in the choir at church, I can't sing, but I can talk. But no, I know you can sing. No, I can't sing. And that is not me. I'm not a gospel singer. I'm not one of those. But I can talk. You want me to talk? I can do that part. I think we have to be true to ourselves.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I think how lovely it is that you and your husband can complement one another.
Yeah.
So that what you have as a gift,
yeah,
he is able to appreciate, and the knowledge and gift that he has, he can share and respect with you.
Yeah.
And that as a team, you have, oh my heavens, you have it all.
I have parts of it all. For sure. Parts of it. So Melinda, let me ask you, what would you tell people? Give me your heartfelt, honest opinion of people that are looking to get a coach and wondering if, even sometimes in getting that third party and that coach, some people feel like that I can give my personal information, or, I don't want people to know what I'm going through, those kind of things. What would you tell them to kind of overcome that barrier there?
The first thing I would say to them is I really applaud you for being courageous enough to question,
Mm-hmm.
and being brave enough to say, I'd like something a little more and I'm not sure how to get there. That's huge. In and of itself, that alone is huge.
Right.
When you're working with a coach, you're not telling them all the
Absolutely.
ickies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What you may end up saying to somebody is, when they say something and it hits you the wrong way, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And if they say why, you may say, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And that actually is also a start of wisdom, because you're understanding how you work.
Absolutely.
And in a coaching relationship, it's your hopes being put out there. Mm-hmm. At any time, you can say, this doesn't work. I need to take a break. I thought I could do this.
Yeah.
It's all about you and your dreams and your hopes.
Absolutely.
And if someone is pushing you and it doesn't feel right, then it's no longer about you. The most wonderful people I have worked with have had the patience of a saint.
Yeah.
They have wanted it for me faster than I may have gotten there. Yeah. But that didn't matter, because it was my journey. Absolutely. And they could find the good and praise it. They could see where the progress was being made. Yeah. And in that degree of accountability, they understood who I was and what I needed and how to help me get to the next place.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true.
That's what I would hope for everybody. Mm-hmm. That as you put your hopes out there, you're getting the feedback you need. Mm-hmm. And always remember, this is your experience. If it doesn't feel good, it isn't.
Absolutely.
Or if it doesn't feel good, sit back and ask yourself why. Mm-hmm. Is it your unruly 5-year-old?
Yeah.
Or do they work in a way that just, it sounded good, but it doesn't work for
Absolutely.
you?
Absolutely.
And we all get embarrassed. And this isn't something to be embarrassed about. Actually, it's your journey of knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
And we would never say anyone going off to school to get you know, a class in something,
Mhm.
even if it's something, if you're going to go learn how to make jewelry or work on your car,
Yeah.
you learn things there you will use the rest of your life, whether you're good at it or not.
Absolutely.
Knowledge and wisdom is vital.
Mm-hmm.
And an all or nothing approach isn't going to do us any good,
Yeah.
because every time we learn something, it's our knowledge.
It's our knowledge. That's true. That's true. And no one can take that away from you. Once you
Never.
learn it, it can never be taken away from you. You know, for sure. And you're absolutely right. When we're helping people to get what they want to get, there are levels and there are different styles in coaches. Someone coming to me, I'm not the kind of coach that is going to be a football coach. I'm not going to scream and holler and pressure you and tell you to take 50 laps because you did something wrong. So there's a difference, and the business coach is going to be different, and the executive coach is going to be different. So that's a good thing that you brought up, Melinda, because what you're doing is you know what you're looking for actually in a coach. When you go to find that, you need to know what you're looking for, and if we can collaborate together to make that person comfortable.
And as you said, with a business or an executive or a sports coach, it's very clear what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you're working with a life coach,
Yeah.
it's not as clear,
Mm-hmm.
because there's what we think we want, and there's what we discover we want,
Right.
and then there's what we discover we're good at.
Yeah.
And those might be the same, or they might be three different things.
Different. Absolutely. I tell you, Melinda, you have given my audience an amazing plethora of information about a coach, and it's been so smooth and so simple. And I would hope that they can feel that like I have, you know, and want to have a coach, even just like you, that are able to softly explain to them that I'm here for you, not to navigate you into a road you don't want to go into, but to help you go down the road in which you choose, you know, that's beneficial for you. That's when you're on your journey.
Very much so. And I want us all to have everything. I
Absolutely.
just want us to have the everything we want.
That we want. Absolutely. Because it sticks and stays when it's something that you want. If you're doing it for someone else, it doesn't stay around at all, which is, you know, which is obvious. But Melinda, it has been amazing, and it's always sharp, but it's been good. And I want you to please tell our audience, give us your social media information so that they can look you up as well.
Well, thank you so very much. My website is melindajkelly.com, and you can find me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn under Melinda J. Kelly. And I would love to hear what you think about success and happiness, and what's been your best success, and maybe what's been your best happiness.
Yes. Wow.
And my book, Finding Your Coach, Diving Deep Within, is available at Amazon.com. And I hope you will enjoy your read.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Melinda, so very much for coming on to the Hindsight Media Network to share your book and your wisdom and your experiences. And I'm quite sure it has truly opened up eyes and blessed somebody. And that's our purpose. We're going to be getting this out so all our audience can read and can get a hint of how important it is to find that coach and dive deep within, because that's what it takes. Actually, we got to that own self be true as to where we want to be in life. So Melinda, I thank you so much again, and I look forward to having you back on our Hindsight Media Network again.
Well, I thank you so much for just such a joyful conversation. And as I was saying the other day, you feel like this long lost best friend. I got to get together and hug.
And that's a good thing. That feeling that energy is powerful, and that's a great thing, Melinda. And I think you have an amazing day, and we will talk soon.
I will look forward to it.
Okay,
Thank you to you and to your audience.
All righty, bye-bye. There we go. That was Melinda J. Kelly. I'm telling you, what an amazing lady with a lot of wisdom. and that softness in her voice is kind of help soothe you if you're kind of feeling a little uneasy. And she wants the audience to know what it means about having a coach and to dive deep within. And you know, we all have to do that at some point in our life. We all need to be on our own journey. We all need to know where we're going. And that's a journey for us, for the one person that you are. And so think about that when you see this video. Make sure that you go to the website, make sure you listen a little bit more to what Melinda is saying, and make sure you go to our YouTube and subscribe to this video and more like it. This is Myra McKnight with the Hindsight Media Network, and we're going to bring you some more amazing people just like Melinda that's going to help you. Thank you again. Have a great and amazing day. Bye-bye.